Hi, gorgeous.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
My goodness, I have been in the up move action point, ready to go, shifting all the dynamics, and now just on the rebuild so I can hold more capacity for all the good, juicy stuff coming in.
Well, yeah, that's a tough act to follow. Gosh, you're just like, yeah, I just did all these things. I just completely changed my life all over again. That's amazing. I love that. You've got a new background.
New
You're in a new
office.
space. Like you're so like you are smiling and beaming. Like I can feel that. It's so good.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing here. I'm so excited for it.
Yay. I was just kind of reflecting that this is like my third incarnation of knowing you because I every time like we have a period of time and then you shift and move and you like expand and grow and like
And
that's just
likewise,
incredible. Huh?
and likewise, because you're about to move too.
I know. We were in a 1 year lease and our lease is up where it's a 10-month lease for the school year and it's up in 2 months. So when you and I both first started doing shows like a year ago, we were in completely different places, like geographically. I was in Texas, we're now in Montana, like you're all over the place as well. We both moved since then, and then you're on your next like one, two, three, you're on like place, and I'm
Level
about
up.
to move to my third place. Oh my God. So much movement. Why is that? What do you think's going on?
I mean, honestly, with the energy, at least that I see coming through, it's we got the horse. It came in, and at least for me, it was like these are the action points to all the culminations, all the seeds that you've been planting
Yeah.
for the past few years. Here's go time.
Okay, I totally agree. That horse kicked my ass. When you and I did a show last, okay, we're like, oh, it's so nice being in the in-between period. And then that horse showed up, and I was like, oh my God, I have not stopped running. Literally, my life has gone on like super hyper overdrive. I have been so busy, and now we got to prepare for another move. And
It's a
like,
thing.
apparently, life likes to put us into interim periods and just, we just keep building like Lego bricks on top of it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, those interim periods are like we're gonna be in the cocoon for just a small period of time, and then we're gonna shoot into expansion.
Yeah, I love that. Well, the small period of time for me being in the cocoon was 2 years. So but it does feel like a blip. It feels like a short period of time and just yeah, it's nice to take a moment and just kind of reflect and be like, oh my God, there has just been so much going on in the world and internally. And I do believe that the external world is just a reflection of our internal world. Like everything is just a gigantic mirror.
Totally.
So, like, we must be just on, fire.
We're definitely on fire. Been moving it, been culminated. I think really for me, because I've been out with groups and networking and things like that, I've
Yeah.
really noticed, at least this is just my internal world, that my connections have been more sovereign. They've been more on point with my energy and how that wants to work and create. And previous to that, at least like last year, I've had to give away, like not give away, give up and shift because I wasn't internally there anymore. Lots of constructs around friends, connections, groups. So entering into this field of things, it's like, ooh, that level up has been really nice. There's a lot of freedom to it. It's rich. Like the connections that I have now are really deep. They're
Uh-huh.
juicy. And like it's entirely myself. Like I could speak whatever I need to, and there's no weirdness around it, you know?
Oh, well, being your authentic true self is amazing. Yes. I mean, the world needs to see that. And for you to have that community around you, I think is amazing. And what's so funny is I don't want to be like a me too to all your stories, but like me too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yes to the Me Too. I think we're
Okay,
at a
yes
point
to
where
the
the
me
Me
too.
Too is okay because it used to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to impede on that story. Though you're having your, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like your experience is your experience, and I'm glad that's a Me Too because honestly, it's a really great place to be.
Well, it just shows that we're really in alignment and in sync. So it's
Sure.
fun to be able to reflect because we're both having similar but totally different experiences. And so we can kind of like go, oh, if you're a little bit ahead, here's what's coming. Here's what's down the road. I can peek around the corner. Oh, good, because and I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm really in lockstep because and firsthand, I've been working on trying to build community around me locally here, as well as like building community with you and other folks, that we just have like great synergies with. Um, I really didn't have any spiritually minded friendships that I could just be like, guess what I discovered on my spiritual journey? Like, no, that is not a conversation I have in this community. And then you and I kind of worked on it. And lo and behold, like that night, I was going to a girls' night where I really don't normally have girls' nights because I just have been kind of rebuilding friendships after being gone for 2 years. And lo and behold, those two girls are incredibly spiritually minded. And the conversation just ratcheted to a whole new level. I'm like, what just happened? So it's incredible that as you sort of open yourself up to it, like it shows up.
Oh yeah, it's right there. It's really like, okay, am I ready to receive that? Right?
Yes.
Starts like that with that. You told me that story and I was like, oh girl, we're gonna get this is the celebration point. Anytime we have those
Yeah.
little pieces where it's like that is just exciting. And like so you're so ready to receive that now.
Yeah. So you know what I'm also now receiving? This is going to be good. Okay. So my son and I went on spring break. We went to LA for Disney and then we went to Hawaii for a couple of days and we discovered some fun stores and we did some shopping because, we live in a small
Heck
town. We don't have a
yeah.
lot of stores. I'm hemorrhaging money like credit card, debit card, debit card. And you know what was really fascinating? Yes, my bank was working properly, but my balance wasn't going down that
Yeah.
much. And I
Yep.
was like, am I kind of stepping into that first new energy of abundance and sovereignty within wealth and saying, like, you just said, can you be ready for that? And so the universe sort of tests you and says, how about we let you kind of do more with less and have like
Yep.
some abundance, even with a small number, but like a massive amount of abundance coming in where I promise you, I was spending money. I discovered the Louis Vuitton store. Like I bought a hat. Like my
I love
son
that.
discovered Louis Vuitton. He bought stuff too. And we made it work on a budget that I normally don't have that much left over at the end of the month. And
Sure.
I'm like, what was that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I can vouch for that. That's definitely happened to me
Oh my
several
God,
times.
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or I've ended up with a much higher balance and I'm like, I'm gonna say thank you
Yes.
to that universe. I don't have to know how that worked out.
I love that. I love that. Because yes, I discovered that too. I looked at my and I was like, that can't be right. But it was. And so I'm thinking we are in the very beginnings of the wealth shift. It's not a crash, it's not a breakdown, but it feels like a shift.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I think too that comes with dropping the meaning of what that is, because our bodies have been trying to be attached to like, okay, when is this happening? What does that look like? When once that is internally stable, at least for me in
Uh,
my experience, like there's no worry around it. And I always end up with a higher balance. So I'm okay. Like I didn't do a whole lot of clients this month or any of that work because I was out and about. I was traveling
yeah,
a
you
lot.
were traveling. Yeah.
I was networking, I was building some community phases, and I'm like, I ended up with a nice balance. So thank you, universe.
Thank you,
Because
universe.
I am looking to do much less and create much more, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
where my body's at too. It's like, no, I'm not, this is not a push force. Like I would love to just enjoy my experience now. I have a beautiful home. I have an incredible sovereign partner and it is fun. I'm having a lot of fun. And that's
Yeah.
the sustainability that I'm going to stay at, I want to keep moving towards that. Even though I go through my layers and things like that, like that the layers have popped up, but and also I've been able to like go, yeah, okay, this is a portion of that, but I'm
Uh-huh.
still having my excitement even while that layer is popping up with the contrast.
Yes. Yes. And I think contrast is there for a purpose. It's not there to be like pointing out our negativities or our flaws or our insecurities or anything. Like it's really meant to show contrast to say, which way do you choose? And then also to see, hey, now that you have chosen something new, look how far you've come. And to be able, because you don't know the good unless you experience the bad. There has to be contrast for you to understand growth and change and evolution. So I say thank the contrast for showing me where I was and where I now am at.
Absolutely. And anytime that comes up for me, like I've had a lot of layers this last week because I know I'm in an expansion phase. It's
Uh-huh.
exciting because I'm like, ooh, Rich, look how much is coming in.
Yeah.
That side by side contrast means there's some good shit coming.
Oh, hills, yes. And you know what else is really fun is I'm watching you with your background because I'm always paying attention to your background. And there are certain positions where your background looks like a crown around your head. And you're
Oh,
like, I'm in expansion. And as you say that, there's like this crown behind you. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you are.
right.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this is like the background where I finally was like, no, I'm gonna show my entire space and what that looks like.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yay.
super highly energetic space, very feng shuied out.
And you're always so fun with the bright colors, and it just shows your playfulness. Like
Uh,
I've got, just sort of the more traditional colors in the background, which kind of shows, I don't know, maybe I'm boring. I don't know, but traditional.
you're just you. You know, I got my
I'm just,
race car shirt on right
oh, do
now.
you? I love that.
Show my little bit of speed in there. I like to race and you know, I think it's fun to just be self right now, you
Mm,
know? Just be
hmm
entirely self, like really not giving a fuck, but how much joy I get from being entirely myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we all get to continually discover who we are because it's okay that we get to change. Like who I was a year ago is not the same as who I am now. And it's still me, but like to give yourself permission to change within self.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite thing to do is wake up in the morning and be like, I am a brand new canvas today. How do I want to create this day? Right?
Oh,
Does
that's
that want to look
nice.
like? Sometimes that's getting body paint out, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna paint it. That's
Dang!
happened.
Oh my God, how
You
fun.
know, I'm in my own personal moment to moment story, so how do I want to create that? And that's really how what we're heading into because every day is going to be different. It is
Mhm.
moment to moment, and if we're being very present with self, and it's a clean canvas. Even per moment, it's a clean canvas.
Yeah, I love the idea of the clean canvas because I get really stuck in routine. And like I find comfort in routine,
Oh
but
yeah.
and to the notion of having a clean canvas to me, it doesn't sound daunting or intimidating. Like it's a choice and it's an option. Like I don't feel any barrier to that, but I do notice where I get into routine and I get sort of stuck in that monotony and that day to day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and sometimes I really love that routine, obviously, because I still have a human body, right? And she's like, yep, no, we're going to keep this solid every single day. And sometimes, obviously, that shifts and I'm at a different elevated space. But I have a like for structure too, because I like to also get things done and I like to also take action. Right? So
Yeah.
that side of me is still very present as I'm in creation mode.
Well, you know what my creation mode is for me because my son asked me, he goes, "Well, why don't you come play with me?" And I said, "Well, I'm working right now, but my work is my play." And I do have a corporate job, and I do a lot of like work in PowerPoint and
Yeah.
developing strategy and doing that kind of stuff. And to me, that is play, and it's like moving boxes around, like that's sort of my artwork. So I kind of view sort of like even in my corporate world that I get to incorporate the element of play. And it's really fascinating is the more I treat it as play and like I just tap in and it just sort of flows through me, that the better it gets received by other people because I'm just sort of like dialing in and just kind of letting it flow through me. I'm not putting a lot of conscious thought. I'm just sort of in the mode and next thing you know this thing is wrapped up and finished and it is getting really strong reviews, which I'm finding fascinating. So it's like that creativity and element in work is really paying off right now.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm really excited you brought that up because there's all this talk, at least I feel out there around, you know, corporate and da 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 da, and how we're gonna live that in the new whatever new
Oh
earth.
yeah, we're gonna leave that behind. AI is gonna take over my job in
It's gonna
about
be,
2 days.
and I'm like, nah. The thing is, like, you were the perfect example of how to like bring that into play, and it really doesn't matter what you're doing in your job. If you're bringing that, excuse me, that creativity in that play, and it's heading into fun, like it's paying off. It doesn't matter.
I think so. And it doesn't like you don't have to sit behind a desk and like there's all different types of jobs. Like there are some people where their job is to take care of, the family and the home and like what kind of play can you bring into that? Like gosh, I wish I could bring more play into that piece of my world.
I'm like, so how are you going to bring some play into
I don't
that?
know. It means I think playing more with my son. And, I look behind my laptop here, and what you can't see off camera is about four different Lego sets that he just
Yeah.
loves. And that's his creative outlet. And it's so I do have a Lego set that I'm working on. I'm not very far on it, but, that can be more fun and bringing in elements. But I think honestly, like putting the devices down and going outside and just kind of making it up. And I find that when we do that, we end up gravitating towards playing sports.
Oh, for sure.
And we have a baseball field not too far from our house that there was one time we just chucked it all in the bag and just went out and played baseball for an hour. And it was so fun. Like
Oh,
that
that's
was true play.
absolutely. Well, I mean, not even from like an energetic spiritual level, actual play from a biological level has been scientifically proven to move through the things quicker. You problem solve quicker. You end up
Yeah.
with elevated, like that is actually proof. If anybody's like looking for a deeper meaning to that aspect of it, play really does help you move through the things. Keeps you.
Yeah, and I say if you're stuck on how to play, go outside and figure it out. Like don't do it indoors. Like go outside and if you
I would
can,
agree with
you know.
that. I would agree
Yeah.
with that. And I got my partner's kiddos here and it's spring break and so I'm
Oh,
I'm down and out the entire time. But I've been playing with Legos, I've been outside, we've been in the
oh,
dirt. We're gonna do a fire tonight, so that keeps my energy flowing too because it's just fun and I always bring that into my work.
yeah.
With anybody that I'm working with, I always bring in a lot of play and fun and laughter. Even if that's not where they're at, I'm always like, so
But you elevated up to that level, which I think is awesome.
always, always, because I wouldn't want to be here if I didn't have that element of humor, of absurdity, of like, oh my gosh, this is really curious. How are we gonna play with that? Especially if someone's in a loop or something like that, I'm like, isn't that funny?
Oh, see, I need to take a page from your playbook and be like, just keep my cool and keep my calm and be like, it's funny, as opposed to like,
Yeah, no, I'm always laughing at something.
I love that. I know, and you've got the best laugh too. So
It's a good time. It's a good time over here. Well, do you want to pull a few cards?
I would love to.
Uh,
Yeah, I just
yeah.
so happen to have them right here. Oh, look, and speaking of, we got the mother right
Heck
here
yes.
talking
Make him
about
get
play with
that.
kids.
All right. Well, since money is the vibe that we were talking about, how about we talk a little bit about money? The
That's my
current
favorite
vibe is money.
subject. All right, what
Exactly.
would you like to know?
Let's see. I want to know, and this is going to be a very collective piece, like where is the collective financial aspect right now?
Where is it? Just sort
Yeah.
of like the
Where
State
is
of
it?
the
Where's it
Union.
gone? Yep, yep.
Where do we stand with the
Where do we
financial
stand?
collective, the financial assets for the collective? Three, two, and one. Where do we stand with the financials for the collective? Oops, I'm cutting the deck. Okay. So, top of the deck is the Emperor. So, a lot of strong energies coming in. Bottom of the deck is your Ten of Pentacles. So, that's just like, I would say, and this is sort of my off to the side pile, which always kind of starts a separate narrative. But I would just say, like, we're definitely moving into some super strong energies. But from the collective perspective, we still have a way to get there, right? Like, because this feels separate from the energy that we're in currently. In the past position, we have the Eight of Wands, which is a very fast moving energy. So wherever we've been, it's sort of like this is your fire horse energy. This absolutely was the pick up and go that we've really needed. It's almost as if like when like when you're in an environment where the air is real static and like heavy, and then you just sort of need like that fresh breeze to just go and
Yep.
clear out the energy in the room, and it just sort of smells better. It's sort of like when you're in a cabin that hasn't been opened for the winter and since the winter, and now it's springtime and you open up all the doors. This is almost like your entrance into spring. This is your spring cleaning. So this is a lot of fast moving energy getting us to move out of where we have been. So
Oh,
here's
I love
the present situation. So I think that there's okay, so this is sort of like the Hierophant to me. I love to be able to represent this as sort of like God energy. So this is sort of like there's sometimes you're on divine timing, right? We've talked about this in the past. We don't always like to wait for divine timing, but this is sort of like divine timing working itself through the collective. And it's going to be a different time for different people based on what timeline you're on, because there's the timeline of lack, there's like a timeline of like a bridge, and then there's sort of like a timeline of abundance. And that's my interpretation. Some may say there's only two, or I don't know, whatever. But this is sort of my interpretation of divine timing, where we're moving from lack and moving into a whole new position. Because if you notice, the horse is going in a different direction from the lack. So here's where folks may feel like they're at. And in divine timing, you get to move in a totally new direction because he's facing opposite. So if he was facing this direction, we'd be moving into more of a lack. But I don't feel that for the collective. I feel like we're going to be through divine timing on an individual basis based on your timeline, that you're going to go from lack into something in a new direction. And where is that direction heading?
it.
Um, so this is truth and integrity, and
Uh-huh.
this is watching your abundance go to a new place. And so, is everyone going to become a bajillionaire? I don't know. Not everyone wants to become a bajillionaire, but I
Sure.
think that there is some new activity as it comes to wealth, and you will see that truth. It's sort of like you can substantiate it for yourself, because for me to just be like, I have abundance today. Yeah, great. Well, my bank balance still shows bleh. So
Sure.
this is your truth and integrity of sort of reflecting back to you a new reality or new pathway or direction for your wealth. And for a lot of us, our wealth is based on us working for it. So I almost wonder if there's another poll after that that shows what happens when you don't have to work for it. Because I feel like there's still the mindset of, I have to work in order to get. And you were just kind of saying earlier how you're shifting out of that of like, I don't want to work as hard, but I still want to get. And that is a real thing. And I've actually worked on that energy in the past too. So I kind of belabored a bit on it, but I felt like it was really interesting.
Oh yeah, totally. Do we want to ask it that question about how do we step out of that work phase? What does that look like? Let's go.
Yes. What does life look like after having to work for abundance?
Exactly.
What does life look like after we no longer have to work to receive abundance?
Ooh.
Oh, what
Oh.
does life look like after we no longer have to work to receive abundance? Okay. Three, two, and one. That's a great question. All right, let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let me just show you what the deck is. Top of the deck is conflict and healing. I would say that feels like a belief we need to heal. Would you not agree?
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like there's a construct there that if you're going to move into this belief system of let's let's be able to receive without having to put forth effort, some people have a like a subconscious limitation, and that's just you need to see where you're hitting your barrier, because that's definitely coming through here. And it actually comes through in this next thing too. Okay. So Queen of Swords in the past position, she is saying to herself, that is a possibility. What if? This is sort of like I could get behind that. I think that really feels interesting. I'd like to explore that more, especially. And the reason why I'm taking that position is because of this discard pile, because it's telling me there's some subconscious limitations. So I feel like she's not exactly saying that is full truth. I think
Sure.
she's pondering the possibility, or she's learning that that's a possibility and wants to explore that further. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yep.
the reason why I say that again, so here's the creation of that, but uh, we have some
Got a
limitation.
little bit of underneath.
Uh-huh, except this makes me so hopeful because what this is saying is I have to have a new perspective to giving birth of that reality, but there is still something in the way. Yeah, our limiting belief systems that we need to heal. And
Yep.
so if we can get past this, I think it's possible, but I'm not allowing it to happen just yet, right? Like there's that toxicity of emotion that still gets in the way. But it's like in the background, you're going to work to try and make that clear up. But this is still present of
Yep.
the belief system is kind of getting in the way of it. But if you can overcome that, and oh, by the way, it's an inside job, and you need to do the work to figure out what you need to bring or to allow or to accept in your world. So, this is actually a very interesting read because what this is saying is someone's going to get a tip that says, did you know this is possible? And they're going to see it in other people and go, well, why the hell isn't it happening for me? What do I need to change in my life in order to make that so? It's now the journey, the inner journey that so many of us that watch these types of videos that you do, that I do, like some of us have done this already, but now what it's doing is it's bringing it into the collective where they start to ask the questions, what do I need to bring into my world in order to make that so?
Right. Yep. Oh, wow. That was a good spread.
That was a great
All right,
question.
that's fantastic. All right, Jen, how do we do that? For everybody who's watching this is like, oh, and I've got points in there where I'm like, yeah, I'm still working through a few perspectives running in here and flipping my perspective. How do we bring that into the current reality?
Do you want me to ask the cards?
Let's ask the cards and then let's shoot off of our own perspectives.
Well, and I'll say for myself, how to bring that into the reality. I've always looked for patterns in
Yep.
my life. Like once I see something showing up, and you get really good at identifying patterns, as you are in one area of your life, so you are in all areas. Because the subconscious belief system isn't really just limited to just one facet of your life, it's an underlying belief that shows up in all areas. It's reflected in the mirror of life. And
Right.
so I'd say if you start to see patterns popping up, and your body is so good at knowing truth, right? Like if you feel that in your throat or in your chest or wherever you feel it in your body, if you're feeling like, oh, that is a barrier, oh, I can't go there, oh, that doesn't feel good to me, like you've got to notice that and then see where that shows up in different areas of your life. Like, take notes, man. I tell you what, you know firsthand, I take a lot of notes and I
You take a
text
lot
them
of
to you.
notes. Yep.
But you got to see where the patterns show up. And then once you start to acknowledge that patterns are real, then you can say, okay, what's the underlying current? And if you can't get there, you got to work with someone to try and help you discover it. But that to me, that's the root of it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, sometimes you can't get there on your own. Or there's and we're really not meant to do it on our own anyways. There's plenty of times where I'm like, "Oh, look, that's coming up in my reality." Because sometimes even with sitting with it for a long time, you can't get to it. So first thing I would say is what's showing up in your physical reality? What are those patterns? What are they looking like? For me, even you expressing yourself and saying, "Dude, I was on a trip." And guess what? My balance didn't go down. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how about that? How about that? That indicates to me I am moving through that level of myself because you're not the first one that I've heard that from. I've had other people be like, huh, this is really curious and this is continuing to happen. And I'm like, well, it's happening to me too. Guess what? That part of my subconscious is shifting that perspective.
And it's validating because I'm showing up as a mirror to you.
Absolutely. As everybody is. I'm always like looking at my parameters to be like, okay, where am I still a little bit stuck? Oh, look, I'm having this piece come up. It's my body is having an inflection. There's a truth piece there that I'm going to go even deeper on. right?
Hmm.
And see what that experience is. So take a look at what's externally happening. Sometimes you can't really hit it inside your body until you take a look at all the parameters. And then sometimes you can hit it on your own. Sometimes you really look at it and you go, "Yep, I've had this pattern for a while." Every time like I go into work, I feel like I have to push myself in order to da 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 receive this, right? These are the tiny little things that we're looking at a perspective change because do you have to do that? Is that actually necessary? Because we're going back here to, oh, what's the possibility here? We can do that. We can shift anything we want here, right? So how then am I going to take action points to shift that? I'm gonna, if that's happening in my reality, I'm gonna step back. I'm not going to do as much, right? I'm
Hmm.
going to trust that then I can make that perspective shift. Yes, I can do that. As what body? Yes, I can do that underneath there. And that might bring up a few more patterns running through there, but it does stop the cycle pattern, right, over time. So just watching the tiny little things in your reality to see what you can start to make micro shifts in, or even knock it on the head and be like, what's a different perspective here? Because clearly I'm stuck on this one. I've got a cute story running, right? Um,
Yeah. And the
yeah.
image that keeps coming up for me is when you go to the fair, or like a carnival, and you go into that hall of mirrors, and, it's that labyrinth, and it's just mirror, mirror, mirror everywhere. And you have to figure out where the path is, and you have to know, where's there an actual hallway versus a mirror? Like, to me, that's exactly what you're talking about. Because if you're like, I'm trying to get through this door, and you're like, "Boof," and you run into the mirror, "Boof," and you run into the
Yep.
mirror. Well, maybe if you just went that way, that's where the hallway is. And so, that could be a component to it too.
Absolutely. And that also is going to take it back into the divine timing piece. I'm not
Mm.
going to push this doorway. Look, there's this pathway over here. It seems like it might be a little bit longer, but it really might not, right?
Hmm.
There's a timing piece to it. What's my internal path actually saying? Because it could be the opposite of anything my brain is thinking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So definitely going back to trusting self in this, trusting gut, and doing the action steps that your gut's actually telling you to do, because that's then your higher self and your energy coming through there, right? Even if it seems entirely off the chain.
Yeah. So what is your body telling you? What is next? Because I've got some stuff floating in my head in terms of what I want to start working on, but what is it for you?
For me now, it's expansion into visibility, shifting my offers, how I work, how I talk.
Oh,
Uh,
I love that.
More opportunities are opening up for me, right? Which ones am I going to take? How would I like to show up in the world? Uh,
Hmm.
and what does that path look like? And the one that I'm choosing that is the most exciting, because I'm going to go with the most exciting, is the one that's very easeful, where I get to sustain joy throughout the day. Okay, where I get to decide what I want to do, who I want to create with. It's opening up to co-creation in ways that we didn't know were possible before.
Hmm. That's nice. I love
Yep.
that.
Yep. And then of course allowing like the income to come in, passive income stream.
Yeah.
Like, oh look, that's coming in. And also acknowledging like when my bank account is like way higher than like that shouldn't be. Oh, it doesn't matter. Look, it's
Did you?
there.
I heard you just say that. That shouldn't be. That should be.
See? Those are the
Yeah.
little things that we got to take a look at, because if we got caught up on the I shouldn't, we're gonna shut off more of that from coming in,
Hmm.
right? So then it's like, who's yeah? And guess what? I'm getting more of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I love that. That and more.
That and more. And the more that holds there, the more that that does happen. And that is definitely my experience. I've hit that so much over this last year where I'm like, look, my body's saying, step out of this. I don't need to work this week. Bye.
Oh,
Right?
love that.
I'm gonna enjoy my experience right now. I'm gonna go up to the mountains. And that amount of time is giving me the next round of whatever abundance that is coming through. And I hit it 10 times harder because I took a break.
Isn't that interesting how sometimes like we're in that mode of hustle, 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 work, 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 that
Yep,
you actually get further by doing less. And
totally.
so maybe that's kind of that shift. Instead of saying, I'm just, my bank account's going to get bigger and bigger, like don't attach it to a bank account. Just go, more is going to show up because I'm rested.
Exactly. More is gonna come in. I do like when I write my, I have a really lovely creative way of like writing my money and intentions for the month, right? And I'm like, the flow is going to come through these routes, and I write it down. Here are the particular bank accounts so that money has a place to land.
Oh, good.
I do all that at the very beginning. I have my intention set. I draw a whole picture. It's very multifaceted, and then I leave it. I'm like, and I'm not going to look at you. So
Oh, yeah.
there you go, universe. You can do the work now. What I'm going to do is relax. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to take the action points that feel very true to me,
Hmm.
right? And
Nice.
sometimes they're just really hella small, and they bring a lot of outcome from those small little
Hella
actions.
small.
Hella tiny.
That's really cool. I mean, that's great advice. And I love and you're right when it's about the documenting it and then letting it go. Because I do feel like when we're in that surrender mode of just like, I already know it and I'm not going to hustle on it. I'm just going to let it go because the universe knows what I need. Like that's where like I think really big breakthroughs come through.
I would say so too. And it's really, for me, I like to grab it from my non-physical reality and put it into my physical reality. And I do a meditation like that where I'm like, ooh, look, there's the timeline that I want. And of course it's infinite. So if you're feeling into all the things, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm like, here's what's gonna happen, universe.
With
Excuse
your
me,
ease and
I
grace.
command as of right now,
Yes, as you
right?
should with your crown behind you.
Exactly, as my crown, that I am pulling in this to my
Mm.
reality, and I'm gonna set a price point, right? And
Oh,
then I'm
good.
gonna anchor it in to my pen, and I'm gonna draw it out, and it could be a scribble, doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. It's just I'm gonna move that through my physical being, anchor it in, hold that steady, put a bunch of colors on it, make it super fun, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, you do the work. Here's the thing that I'm gonna do is just make sure that I am in alignment with myself and I take the action points, okay? Which could be again hella little.
Mhm.
Like I want to write one tiny email, whatever the case is that it is, and it's done beautiful work. But that's also been the underlying getting all the constructs out there, looking at my perspective. Where is that at right now? Being in the allowance of that to come in, and also knowing too that the more that I am in my entire authentic self, interacting, playing, the more that's going to come in, which means I don't need to focus on it. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to be afraid of it. Okay, because that's also what's going to block it. I'm just going to let it go and have a good laugh about it.
Because your body believes that it's so.
Yep.
Because that's the difference is if you say, oh, I'm gonna get 10 bajillion dollars, but your body doesn't believe it, that's
That's
where you've
it.
got to acknowledge because what you're saying is you've cleared that pathway. You don't have that resistance within your body. You can let it go because you believe that it's so.
Oh, totally. Like entirely. But that's what took the while, like through my body and my nervous
Yeah.
system, right? This is the nervous system
Yes.
that's in survival 24/7. And I'm like, no, nervous system, here's the thing. We're gonna be in constant expansion. I'm gonna dump the contraction bullshit for a second. Okay? I'm gonna dump it because there's lots of notion out there that we're like doing this. I'm like, I am not doing that. I don't like I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna stay in my expansion range, which
Mhm.
means I can pull it in from any point and then I have my body feel it really immersively, and it's got to be my nervous system that's like, yep, I feel that is solid. There is nothing there that's wiggling around. Cool, we're putting it down. Then I'm gonna let it go.
That's so great. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing that with work because I don't think about it anymore. I just know I'm in the flow of it. And so now I get to focus my attention elsewhere because I already know that that piece of it is taken care of and is skyrocketing.
Heck yeah, absolutely. That's the best part of it. I love doing that. I'm
That's
like,
so
let's
good.
let go and see what happens. So this has been great.
Yes. Yes. I'm excited to see what we create.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good
There's gonna
stuff.
be more with us, for sure. I've looked at a few pathways. I'm like, ooh, girl, this is gonna get real fun. As it
Good. I am on board with that.
All right. Well, I just circle up and tell everybody here, thank you so much. Again, this is all about your own perspective, and we may hit upon things that don't work for you and some that do. Always take a look at yourself and know that you have every possibility and ability to take that path for yourself. And I'm excited to do more.
Me too. Me too. Well, thank you. This was such a wonderful chat. Thank you
That
for
was fantastic.
filling my cup for the day.
Absolutely. Let's do some more.
Love it.
What other topics come up next time? Okay.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Love
Bye.
you.
Love you.